All right, let's get to our week 9 hot read before we get you out of here. I'm going to go first on this one because as we just talked about the Raiders, both of us not really believing in them, I'm going to believe in the Raiders. So the Raiders are 2.5-point favorites in New York facing the Giants. We just talked a lot about the Giants. Giants aren't good. The Raiders might not be great. They are possibly, they're the 2 seed in the AFC right now, thanks to having a nice week for the Raiders too. They sat home on the bye week and watched while the Chargers watched while one of the teams they're tied with atop the AFC lost in the Bengals. So good week for the Raiders. So the Raiders defense, I think, is pretty underrated. We didn't give them much credit coming into the year, but they've been great. Over the last 4 weeks, Raiders are top 7 overall in EPA on defense and top 7 in pass defense. Pass rush has been great all year. I think they're going to give a bad Giants offensive line a ton of trouble. Daniel Jones is going to struggle against that pass rush. The Raiders, they started 3-0. They had 2 ugly losses, but we now know in hindsight, those 2 ugly losses came during the middle of all that John Gruden mess. Gruden leaves. They win 2 games since then. And I think it's been their best 2 wins of the season. Now they had a bye week to kind of be like, okay, so that's all done. Let's move on. And I just think it's disrespectful to make the Raiders under field goal favorite against the Giants. So I'm grabbing it while we're getting under field goal. I'll still like it after that, but I definitely want to grab the line first. Short favorites coming off a bye week are 51-32 against the spread, 61% cover. Road favorites coming off a bye week are 71-50 against the spread, 59% favorite. Combine them, short road favorites, and it goes to 68%. So I like the Raiders a lot. I think this line is really underrating them here.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all. For me, I'm actually going to go with another road team. I'm going to go with the New England Patriots -2.5 against the Carolina Panthers. That actually may be up to 3 in some places, but I think you can find a cheap buy to -2.5. There's a 2.5 at one of the sports books I see right now. But this is mainly a fade of PJ Walker, who could be starting at quarterback next week. I don't know if you guys recognize PJ Walker, but he played in the XFL. That's where he kind of built his claim to fame and got back into the NFL 2 seasons ago. But look, Sam Darnold isn't anything to write home about. And I've said this before. There's only so long fake thugs can pretend with Sam Darnold. And he came out hot and he played the first 3 games of the season great. And obviously he cooked the Atlanta Falcons, but he's not a great quarterback. He's 30th in Football Outsiders DVOA. He's 25th in ESPN's QBR. He has 7 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. So anytime he's not playing a piss poor defense, he's not good. Now, PJ Walker is a significant downgrade. In limited action this year, he has a negative DVOA of 98.1. And last season, he had just a completion percentage of 57% with 5 interceptions and 1 touchdown. To put it blunt, PJ Walker is not good, and he has to face a Bill Belichick-led defense. Look, the Panthers might as well be playing with one arm tied behind their back. And I have to lay that number at 2.5, 3. I think this is really cheap with a Patriots team that's really playing well. Mac Jones is playing well. So I would bet this up to 3. So take the Patriots.
Yeah, it's rough when Sam Darnold has been absolutely miserable for a month and he's out and we're like, oh no, their quarterback situation gets worse. So we don't know if Darnold is out yet, but whichever quarterback it is, you got Darnold or PJ Walker and you got Bill Belichick. Like, how many times do we need to keep seeing this sort of thing play out? It's not exactly a rookie, but it's not that much better. So I agree with you. I love the Patriots here, especially if you can get that 2.5 number. So I'm going to back you on another one. On Friday, on our look ahead, you took the Texans. I wasn't quite ready to ride with Houston yet. They're in Miami giving a touchdown right now, full 7. I'm ready to take them. So here's the reason, and it's 2 words, 1 name, Tyrod Taylor. We think he should be back next week. I thought he might be back this week. I thought he might be back last week when I bet Houston plus 1,000 against the Cardinals and then got crushed when Davis Mills couldn't score. This is a play on Tyrod Taylor. They're just so much better with him. They've scored almost as many points. Until that garbage time today, they've scored more points with Tyrod Taylor in 1.5 games than they have with Davis Mills in 6.5 games. So Houston, the soft spot on the team, especially, is the run defense. Miami can't run the ball. They're near the bottom of the league in DVOA rushing. There's a trend here that's pretty massive too. If you get a team week 5 or later, so once we've really established, and their average margin per game is -14 or worse. So that's the Texans here. They're obviously in rough shape, minus 15.3 right now. Those teams are getting way underrated in the books. Those teams are 94 and 48 against the spread, 66%. So that's 2 out of 3 are covering there. So I like Houston here. If Tyrod Taylor plays, I think it could be an upset special possibility. We'll see about that. I would make this line maybe closer to 4 or something with Taylor in the lineup. So I think there's maybe a field goal of value here, especially if Taylor does get clear in the lineup. I do think the line will move toward Houston. So you gave this one on Friday. I'm just doubling down. We're both on Houston for the week. Let's go Texans.
Oh, yeah. I totally agree with you, obviously. Look, this Miami defense, last year they made a living off turnovers. They generated the most turnovers, and it just felt like every game you watch it, you had the defense scoring. But that hasn't been the case this year. They're 23rd in success rate defensively. They're 28th in EPA per play on defense. This defense can't stop anybody. And I'm going to be honest with you, as much as I want Tyrod Taylor to play, I think there might be some value with the 7, even if Davis Mills plays, because it's not like this Miami offense is that much better. They're 26 in offensive success rate. They're 27 for EPA per play. So I think the Texans, they have a veteran team. They're going to find some success no matter who's quarterbacking out there. Obviously, I hope to see Tyrod Taylor, but I think you need to grab that number now, because if Tyrod plays, that number is going to drop. So grab that ASAP. For my second play, I'm actually going to go with the Cleveland Browns. +3, play a Cincinnati Bengals team that just gave up 400 yards to Mike White in his first start. And obviously, it was the big letdown spot after coming off against Baltimore. But this Cleveland team, they're playing for their season, and they're slowly starting to get healthy on the offensive line. The skill players are getting healthy. And I think this is an ideal spot for Cleveland to go out there and possibly win this game outright. The Bengals, they've been solid, but they still have a coach in Zach Taylor who isn't the best. I think there's a coaching mismatch between him and Stefanski. I'm a big Kevin Stefanski guy. Big shout out to UPenn. He actually won an Ivy League championship while he was there. So, I'm rolling with the Browns. I think +3 is a good number. And then, honestly, I want to sprinkle a little something on the money line.
Oh, here we go. An upset special. I know you don't play a lot of these money line dogs, but hey, we talked about that trend, and the Browns fit the trend well. So that's a good spot for them. I will say this, Kevin Stefanski has yet to ever cover a division game. He's 0-7 against the spread in division games. So I can't ride with you yet. I might get there by the end of the week. Maybe
that's interesting. He hasn't covered a single one, not even as a dog?
None of them. He's 0-7 against the spread. So,
wow.
I mean, it's not a big sample, so we can't take too much of it, but you never like the goose egg in front of the number there. So I'm not with you yet on the Browns. I might join you later. I just need to research a little bit more.
But I mean, that kind of makes sense because they play. I mean, you got to look who's in their division.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson is obviously dominant. So I don't think they've even beaten the Ravens. So, I mean, the Ravens beat them twice last year. Obviously, the Steelers have owned them. And then they probably were big favorites against the Bengals. So I don't know how many spots you'll see where the Browns were actually 3-point dogs against the Bengals. So
it's true. Yeah. And I do like that the Browns are getting healthy. It's been a mess for the first half of the year, but it does seem like this could be the spot. This week, I liked Pittsburgh. They're another team I loved on the underdog, and they came through. This was a spot where I thought Pittsburgh could maybe try to save their season and get back in the mix a little bit as they were getting healthy. It might be the Browns' turn now. So I won't be surprised if I join you here once I look into a little bit more. It does seem like, especially division game, 3 points on the road, we're seeing these road dogs. So I may get there. I'm already almost there on this conversation right now. So,
this will definitely be a part of one of my teasers this week. I love teasing them through the key numbers of 7. I think this is a slam teaser spot for me right now.
That makes a lot of sense. All right. That is going to wrap it up today at the Action Network podcast. Please rate, subscribe, and review. Stuckey and Raybon, Wednesday night. They'll be back with their NFL 6-pack betting. And Raheem and I are back Friday for usual run through the slate and the look ahead. For Raheem Palmer, I'm Brandon Anderson, and this has been the Action Network podcast. We are on to week 9.